Welcome back to another video. I just finished sanding my project to a smooth 220 grit finish on both the top and the bottom. I've smoothed the edges out. I've got rid of all the milling marks, so I'm ready to move on. And what I'd like to do in this video is, like this student did here, use the laser engraver to put my name on the bottom of my project so I know that it belongs to me. So I'm going to switch the camera angle so you can have a better view of the screen behind me, and we will continue with that process momentarily. Alright folks, I know this is kind of old school. I'm taping a computer screen with the computer screen, but we've got an older controller computer here that doesn't have internet access, so I can't use my video streaming software. I'm going to come down and open up this green logo here that says Corel Draw, and then I'm going to be patient while it loads. All right, it looks like somebody had an unsaved file, so I'm going to cancel out. I don't need those. It's going to bring me to this welcome screen, which hopefully, yeah, I think we can see. We're going to go ahead and click on New Document, and then in the middle of the New Document screen right here, it's asking me how wide and how high is my new document. Now, my cribbage board is a 13-inch diameter circle, but I don't want to enter in text 13 inches by 13 inches because that's a little too big. So what we're going to do here is kind of trick the computer. I'm going to tell it I want to enter in some text that's 4 inches wide, and I'm going to leave it at 1 inch for height. So when I say OK, that'll bring this rectangle up. Now this is just zoomed in on my 1 by 4 inch square. I'm going to put some text in here by coming over and clicking on the letter A on the side. And then I'm going to drag my text box. You can try and make this match or make it a little bit smaller. It's fine. We'll come back and center it in a minute. And then I'll go ahead and I'll type my text in here. So if I wanted to say, you know, Mr. Coleman, I can do that. If I wanted to say to Grandma with love, I could put that in here too. Okay, so I type my text in. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to change the font and change the size a little bit. So I'm not a big fan of that default one. I want to find something here. This brush script I kind of like because it looks like handwriting. 12-point font looks a little small, so I'm going to go 48. And now I notice it's kind of off to one side. So this button right here, right now it's a red X with a bunch of blue lines. It'll let me change that to a center alignment on my screen. And so you can mess around with this, you know, try different things, find something that looks good for you. Okay, and then once you got the text looking the way you want, your next big decision is whether you want to do a raster, a vector, or combine those two to get what we call a combined. Pretty creative name, huh? And I want to get it combined. So in order to do that, I've got to convert my text and go through the steps I'd use to get a vector. So I'm going to come up and click on this white arrow here. This is my selection arrow, and that'll let me click on my text box. So now that my text is selected, I'm going to come up to bitmaps. I'm going to click on convert to bitmaps, and it wants to change the size a little bit. I'm fine with that, so I'm going to say OK. And now I've converted that text file into a bitmap. So this is a picture of my text. It's no longer text where I could go in and change the font or the spelling. If you need to go back and adjust things, you may have to use the undo button up top here. Okay. I like what I got, so I'm going to go forward. I'm going to click on trace bitmap. I'm going to come down to outline trace, and then I'm going to go to detailed logo. Some of you may have seen this screen before. It just put a bunch of red lines around the outside of my name, and that's what it will cut when it does this vector cut for me. All right, so if you don't like what you got for red lines here, then you can change that by adjusting the detail up or down at the top of your screen. All right, just keep in mind that as you change this, the computer needs a minute to think. So wait until this green bar goes across at the bottom of the screen. Right, before you evaluate your solution and how well it worked. And so I'm just going to go ahead and click OK because I like what I've got. And then to get that outline, I need to come up here to the text size, and I'm going to change it from none to a hairline. So it doesn't make a whole lot of difference on your screen, but that's going to be real important when we go to Engrave in a couple of minutes. Now the last thing I want to do is, I said we could come back and we could recenter this text before we print it. I'm going to come up to the View button, or the View tab. Not the View tab. I'm going to come up to, how about the Object tab, and then I'm going to go to Align and Distribute, and there's a Center to Page option that I'm going to click on, and that'll bring my text right to the middle of this box. So everything here is looking the way I want it, so I'm going to click on File, and I'm going to set up the laser, which is installed as a printer. So I'm actually going to File, Print. Next to the laser's name here, there's a preference button that I want to click on. And in this screen, I'm going to lower my DPI to 400. That's the highest DPI we can really print on wood with. I'm going to change my options here to autofocus and center engraving. I should see a red X right in the middle. That tells me I'm going to engrave from the center out. Okay, I want my job type to be combined. So I'm going to leave combined checked. Okay? You might deviate from me here. If you want either raster or vector, not combined, you're going to check raster or vector, whichever option it is you'd like there. And then I need to enter in the size I did at the beginning. My horizontal was 4, my vertical was 1. And to get this raster to burn to the correct depth, oops, sorry, computer screen, I'm going to adjust my speed up top here. So I'm going to lower my speed down to 30, and I'm going to increase my power to 100. That'll let the laser burn on my wood for a longer period of time with more intensity, and get that nice dark engraving. So now I'm going to look at the vector settings. All of these bars should be right in the middle, and they are, so I'm going to leave it right there. One thing I forgot to change was the engrave direction. Typically we want to go bottom up, not top down. And so I'm going to click OK. Pay attention to my preview screen off to the side here when I do that. And you can see my preview changed. Over here now it looks more like my 1x4 inch square. That's what I want to see. So in just a second, I'm going to click OK. Before I do that, here's my face. I am going to turn the computer on. All right, so we'll try not to make anybody seasick here. I'm going to come over to this side of the laser. I think I just said turn the computer on this side of the laser, and I'm going to flip that power switch on. Then we'll do-si-do back here again. All right, now I can take and click OK. And on this LCD display, it says Job Untitled 1. So that's the job I want. I'm going to pause, get a little better setup for my camera, and we will continue with this video in a moment. All right, I've got the camera in a little better position so you can see what we're going to do. I'm going to open up the lid. This will let me get into the laser. And I'm going to take my project and I'm going to set this in the laser. I'm going to push it up against, there's a little angled piece here at the front. I'll push it up against that. And then I'm going to slide it over. There's another angled bracket at the side here. I'm going to slide it against. So it's going to sit in there, something like that. If you'd like your instructor to check that before you cut or engrave, by all means, get them over there. And the next thing I'm going to do is hit this pointer button at the end. That will turn a red laser light on our laser engraver part right here. Now I want to start this engraving at the center of my project. So to do that, I'm going to hit the XY off. This prompts me to hit the go button if I'd like to turn the XY off. So I'm going to hit the green go button. Okay, now at this point, I can take and I can slide the laser carriage back and forth. I can slide this arm up and down. And what's difficult to see with my camera is there's a little red dot down here where that laser pointer is going. So I want to get that red dot to the center of my project, as close as I can. So I'm eyeballing. There is a tape measure here. We want to be right around 5.5 by 5.5. Is going to get you pretty darn close to the center. Okay. I like the location I've got. So now I'm going to hit go. I'm sorry, I'm going to hit set home, and that'll set it as its home spot. And now that I've got the new home set to the center of my project, I'm going to close the lid. All right, and in just a second, I'm going to hit the go button. Before I do, I need to turn my smoke sucker on. So on the back of this box, there's an up-down switch. I need to reach behind and toggle that switch up. You can see on the front now we've got one blue light right here. You can hear the smoke sucker going. That tells me it's working. We'll go ahead and hit the go button. And that's pretty much all there is to this process. I'm going to make sure to turn the smoke sucker off. Now I've got silence. And I'm going to, on the side, flip the power off. By flipping the power off, I can move this arm back now, and I can lift my finished project out of the laser engraver.